Only in America. Look, I even got a new little intro vid thing. I'm sitting there playing with some new stuff. Good evening, Internet. How are we doing tonight?
Hey there, peoples.
Alrighty. Did you see? So, yeah, Tuesday night, Scuba and I. Here we go again. And, yeah.
Right guy.
I don't know. It's
And
like a train of thought. I'm like looking 110 different directions. I feel like I'm driving a car, man. Like, check here, check there, check there, check there.
hey, I can't wait to. I'm actually looking forward to being able to drive out to your place again.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, when you come out, dude, it'll be a whole new setup again.
Oh yeah, it's fine. I always enjoy something new seeing.
Yeah,
I
it's like
bet you the
yeah,
yeah.
because Thursday we're going to be taking apart the studio to set up a new desk, new crafting
Okay.
table, uh,
Awesome.
new computer, new light setup, new mic setup. So yeah, it's gonna be a complete, almost a complete revamp, and there'll be more room for playing games when people come over to start playing games. So that's one of the first announcements out of the way.
There you go.
A
I'll
couple
bring a
other
couple of my board games over, and we can probably play them. Game of Thrones Risk.
Dude, I still got your Taliesin game over here, man.
Yeah, I know. I never ask because I know where it is and it's safe, so I don't
It is
worry about
safe.
it.
It is very safe.
And more than
Um,
likely, it'll get played more over there than here. So yeah.
that's fair. All right, a couple other quick things to get through real quick. First of all, shout out to Syrinscape for the background musics and soundboards you're hearing. Much appreciate them. Take your games to the next level. Check out Syrinscape. Got an affiliate link in the doobly doo.
Check it out, people.
I've been watching Matt Coville too much. I did the doobly doo. All right. Next thing, announcement wise, is going to kick things off with announcing a new show that's going to start this Saturday. It's going to be
Oh
a
snap!
new D&D game. The group is going to be called, or tentatively called right now, Challenge Accepted. I'll be, of course, be the dungeon master for this wonderful excursion, and we're gonna broadcast 3 p.m. here on Scuba Studios Twitch channel, and also release the audio as a podcast through our podcast channels till we get it kind of for first few episodes, and then we may break it up towards its own thing from a podcast perspective. But yeah, that's pretty exciting and getting that started. So we'll talk about more of that later when we get into State of Game. All right, do you have any announcements that I might have missed?
No, like major studio announcements, but me and Angelica celebrated 3 years together over
Oh,
the weekend. So
yay!
that's an
Yay!
announcement.
Congrats!
Hey,
Congrats!
yay! So went ahead and not too much you can do around here while we're trapped in isolation, but our area is befitting of many outdoor activities. So we went to the botanical gardens. So
Nice.
went there, saw what looked at flowers, took some photos, and then
Oh,
I cooked a dinner for her.
oh, wow! I
Yeah,
forgot. Yeah.
I made my famous homemade basil pesto
Oh yes,
spaghetti.
that's some good stuff right there. Good.
So fresh basil pesto with spaghetti. So that was very healthy and genuinely good.
Nice. Nice. Alrighty. So I guess with that, we'll roll right into what's up since you're already talking about it. Why don't you keep that train rolling and tell us what else you've been up to?
Other than celebrating that with my wonderful girlfriend Angelica, continuing my read of this book right here, screenplays. I'm almost done. So once I finish that, I will pick up one or two ideas. I'll leave that as a mystery to everybody and start working on that. But only after I finish rewriting this romance novel that I've been working on as well.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm almost done editing. Well, basically, like rewriting it because I wrote it so long ago. So there's a lot of choppiness in it. So kind of, fixing a lot of stuff and rewriting sections. But once I'm done with that, I'm going to send it to a good friend of mine's to do another pass through. And then I'll probably publish it on my account on lulu.com. So look forward to that maybe within a year.
All right.
And then what else have I been doing? Lots of gaming, pretty much that. Lots of watching, since we're downtime. A lot of TV shows I had saved in my queue, I'm catching up on. So I like series like the Last Kingdom, um, All American on Netflix. Both of those are on Netflix, and a few others that I'm catching up. So it's pretty just finding ways to stay active mentally and all the other things in between. And also signed up for a we call it's a virtual 5K, a virtual run. So basically, it's what it is that you actually are you do a 5K, but when you do a 5K, it's usually with a large group somewhere.
Yeah.
This one you do it, but you have to kind of record it itself. I'll get more information later once I get the shirts and stuff, but it'll be at the end of the month.
Hmm.
So I signed up for the 5K portion.
Interesting.
So finally, I'm getting back into doing a 5K. So I'm excited about that.
That is always good news.
Yes, but other than that, nothing really else going on. Just lots of nerding out over here and venturing out. Oh, we did find this ice cream place I've never heard of.
Oh,
Well, just
really?
randomly driving around. It's called Blue Cow Ice Cream, and that is an amazing, creamy, delicious ice cream. So you should check it out one day, or if you come over here, I'll take you over. Get some ice
All
cream.
right. Sounds like a plan to me. Just remember to get the announcements out.
Awesome. But yeah, that's all I have. Strolling over in the Rye Guys manifestation of a home. Me and Kirby just chilling.
The
You know,
manifestation of a home. Okay.
yeah, you got Kirby sucking something in and me trying to avoid everything. So,
I see
oh
you,
wait,
Kirby, and raise you an R2D2.
oh, I think you might win there. Did he win? Yeah. Kirby agrees.
Check out Scuba and Narai where we play with plushies. Yay!
Oh yes, that's what we do.
Well, that was a
Stuffed animal.
birthday. That was a birthday gift from my daughter. So
Oh yes.
he's got a rocket out here in the studio once things get kind of fixed up.
Oh yeah,
So,
you have your R2D2. I'll bring my porg and we'll have a good old time.
oh yeah, lots of fun there. Yeah, I guess for me it's been receiving for the last week or so. Because
Yes, you have been receiving a lot of stuff.
oh yeah, it's a wide variety of things, man. Big thing. The whole thing started with ordering a new computer, which we talked about last week.
Yeah,
Talking about ordering a new computer. Well, as of today, the last of the computer parts has arrived. So 10-1 Saladin tomorrow will come over and we will assemble the two computers and
dun
get
dun
them all
dun.
going. And then on Thursday, my wife and I are going to break down the studio and set up the new equipment. So that should be loads of fun. I think there's only a few things I'm waiting to receive, and those are going to be a couple of new mounts for lighting and cameras. I saw some really great ideas while I was researching lights last week after receiving the new studio lights. One of them's on right now, and I still kind of have to adjust the lighting on that to try and get some more even lighting. So, but it should be fun. The new setups, the new desk is a sit stand desk. I'll have pictures and video and content I'll be making and recording all the setup and everything. I shot video over the weekend doing the desk builds for both the workstation as well as the crafting table. So I'll be editing that together and getting that out as soon as I can within reason. I mean, video editing is still a little rough. Um,
The
spent a lot
more
of
you do it, the
time.
better you get at it, though.
Yeah, and through all that, there was the whole bit with the new show getting started, and then it was just celebrating my birthday yesterday and getting and responding to all of the various birthday messages. And now it's like a year ago, I only had to worry about like Facebook and some text messages. This year, it's Facebook, text messages, and two or three different Discord channels where it was constant happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Oh yeah.
And then last night watched Tides of Wildmount on the realmsmith.tv channel. And at the end, I got a nice little shout out from the DM saying happy birthday because it's been going on in the chat that it was people wishing me a happy birthday, so that felt good.
Oh
And
yeah.
so yeah, I even got my first Realm Smith adventure box in, so that'll be so hopefully some new stuff to talk about. But I gotta I gotta wait on a couple of things first before I can really go into that. But I did get it. It arrived Saturday, so it's like, and then I got some new D&D swag that was on sale. So it's a variety of things been arriving. So it's just been crazy. Every day more packages get here, and I'm hoping that soon it'll be all done and be like, cool. Now I can work on the whole desk setup and job hunting thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you get the ball rolling on that, but eventually it'll catch on, and you'll be on that workhorse again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So,
Yeah.
huh. Alrighty. I think with that we can go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the day.
Don't forget the gravy.
Oh yes, gotta have the
Maybe
gravy.
some chives.
Well, loaded baked potato is the best kind of baked potato.
Wish we could go to Texas Roadhouse right now. You got me excited.
You'll survive, my friend. You'll survive.
Well, I have to. There's no other way around it.
This is true. This is true. All right. Quick moment to review. Alrighty, movie reviews. And this week we did a double. We both watched this movie and gonna be able to talk about it. And that is Rye Review Rewind, the movie Snatch with Brad Pitt, Jason Statham, and Benedict Del Toro. So it's like interesting group.
Yeah, it's a who's of names and just sporadic different character actors that are familiar with during that height of the film industry of that time. So very recognizable names that are still around today, and some others.
Yeah, I was just a little like, what is going on with this?
Oh yeah. Snatch. It's a film written and directed by Guy Ritchie. A lot of people recognize his name nowadays because he was part of the live action adaptation of Aladdin, in a recent film this year, The Gentleman, which I reviewed earlier. But when it comes to Guy Ritchie, this is whenever they reference like his magnum opus, that one film that people always gravitate back to, it's Snatch. So I decided to go back per recommendation and do an old school rerun review of this film, which I haven't watched in a long time, but I never actually put up a review for it. So it's like, heck, let's go back, rewatch it, see if I can if see if I, it's been so long when you watch a movie and then you've moved on, tastes change, trends change, you mature in your thought process of how you look at film. So it's
Yeah,
like,
life has a
is it
tendency to do that.
yeah, like is a movie that you loved and beloved for so long still kind of one of those films? So putting all of that aside, I went into it like I always do, exposition at the door, and just take the film as is. Um, and coming out of watching this film, I can definitely say I still consider it one of my favorite films. It's still on that top 10 list of my favorite films, but that doesn't play into my review. So,
Yeah, because
um,
heaven forbid anybody has any bias when they watch
oh
something.
no, oh no, no bias. But when it comes to favorites, it's I separate favorites from best.
Okay.
There's a best list, and then there's a favorite list. There could be a movie that is just so bad it's so good, and it can be a favorite. Um, but with Snatch, what you have here is a film that centralizes around the British crime underworld in London. So you have a lot of mixed bags of a lot of things going on. You have the violent gangsters, you have some incompetent robbers, you have this underground boxing ring, and then everything comes together because of a diamond heist for a 82nd carat diamond that was stolen. So the
Yeah.
main MacGuffin of this film deals with this diamond and the one a diamond dealer from New York that wants to get a hold of it. So when it comes to a Guy Ritchie film, the one thing you need to know going in is that he doesn't write or direct within a traditional manner. The only film in his pedigree that he's done that is Aladdin, and that's a studio film, so he had to play along with the big boys. But other than that, like when it's truly him directing and writing, he always focuses on two things. He focuses on characters and plot driven by circumstance. And what I mean by that is that when you have as many characters as you do in this film, like you mentioned, you have Turkish played by Jason Statham, Mickey played by Brad Pitt, Bullet Tooth Tony played by Vinnie Jones, Boris the Blade played by actor Rad. I'm going to butcher his name, no pun
Yeah.
intended. Serbija,
A
and a
lot of
few
people I've
others
seen in
you
other
named.
works, but seeing him in this ensemble cast is really kind of,
Oh
huh.
yeah, oh yeah.
I found it.
So
I found it very interesting as far as the cast, but the movie was something. But
oh yeah,
I'll let you finish
but
getting through your part, and then we can back and forth.
okay. So what you have here is a film that predicates on blending plenty of genres, but with the attitude of following these common criminal archetypes, but pushed through with a layer of colorful antics and social ambiguity. Because nothing is what it seems, and then everything is unexpected. Because nobody is safe in this film. You might think, oh, this bad mamma jamma of a character is not going to get taken out, and then he does or she does, and then who you expect to come out on top, you don't see it coming. So what you have is a basic slice of life mantra driven by a colorful cast created through an obvious plot device. And even with that standardness, it's still a fun and enjoyable ride because everything that is great about this film is the acting, the character development, and most especially the dialogue. So when you have everything is linked between situations and scenarios. So you know no matter if it's Turkish and his crew trying to win boxing matches or set up boxing matches. I'm gonna just say that set up, not gonna spoil anything, even if you haven't. Even though it's been out a long time, you still don't want to spoil this if you haven't seen it. You have pretty much a lot of Foley situations, witty dialogue, and unexpected events that surround this ultimate MacGuffin. So what I love, the great thing I love about this movie is that everything is driven by those witty confrontations and what I call structure mayhem. Because even when things seem a convenience in a typical linear story, when it might seem convenient as a plot point, you come to realize it's not. It just kind of happens. Things just kind of fall into place, and that's predicated on the script itself. It's a very tightly written script. Everything makes sense. Every piece, even though it might start off with no explanation, comes together very seamlessly by the end. Like everything has an important role to play with in this film. So when it comes full circle, it all makes sense.
Okay.
So it starts off from opposite ends and comes together in a whole. So
Yeah. To be
you
honest,
have
I
the floor,
wasn't
Scuba.
sure what to expect going into this. I've never seen this film before. I'd heard about it, but I never made the time to sit down to watch it. And then when you posted, hey, this was going to be your review, it's like, all right, well, let me go watch this because I feel that our review conversations are a little more interesting for our listeners if I've seen the film too, other than just go and apply critical thinking to what you have described to draw inferences and whatever. Now that I've
Oh yeah.
actually seen this film, and I gotta admit, I'm going through watching it going, wait, what? It was, I mean, it was the layering of humor and satire in this film is just incredible, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the tropes and the British comedy of the British humor of things, and the fact that a lot of it is all there's not a lot of there's not American films when it comes to comedy, when they have comedies and things like that, they tend to rely on some physical aspect of the comedy.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
A
you
lot
look
of
at
the time.
slapstick and physical comedy. Steve Martin, a lot of those guys make really good films, but a lot of that is all just kind of zany physical comedy. This film is all about the dialogue when it comes to the jokes. Because
Yeah.
if you're not paying attention to the dialogue, a joke will come right through, and you won't even realize it happened. Like, what
Yeah,
is
it's
it?
very subtle, but it's very obvious at the same time.
Well,
But it's only obvious if you're paying attention.
some of them are just like, wow, what a comedy of errors.
Oh
Like
yeah. It's
the
it's
dude's running the pawn shop, robbing the bookies, and it's right there. All bets are all bets are off, or all bets are closed. What do you mean? There's got to be money here. Like, I got a bag of coin, and it's literally a bag of coin. It's just like,
it's
wow. I mean, wow.
see.
Some of that, and then it's like it's like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, there's some of those running jokes that go out throughout the whole film. That if you, I mean, it. I have to say the only other director that comes to mind to do this kind of subtle innuendo, it just or something that if you didn't catch it in the beginning, you missed the punchline at the end, would be some of the early Tarantino films.
Oh yeah.
So it's I found it really hard to it's like there were parts like when they were talking like went to go talk to the puckers or the packers or the gypsies. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the dude went to go get the trailer and he wound up with a dog, and then you cut into this group that has no connection whatsoever. And it's like you went to them. It's like, yeah, what's that? It's a dog. Every deal with them comes with a dog. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, what? I mean, and it's like the whole thing. It's like the joke on the fact that you can't have guns in London, and it's like so many things that in
And
America,
everybody's running around with a gun.
yeah, everybody's running around with a gun, or it's like the dude's like, oh. If it's heavy, it's reliable. Because worst case, you can just hit somebody with it, and it's like and the thing is like certain things like he gives the guy the revolver, but you find out later it's like there was no conversation about bullets.
Yeah.
You can see the guy for the gun, but doesn't mean he's gonna give you bullets. Oh, you got to figure that out for yourself. But it's subtle. It's very subtle. And
like this film is the pure entity of what is called perfect screenwriting and perfect, just linking scenes without having to over explain.
Oh yeah, it's like you get
themselves.
that list of character intros, and then it just goes. There's no wasted supposition on who this guy is or how he's affiliated with that guy. You get very clear who's who at the beginning, and then you just roll into the story. And Del Toro's character is really, I mean, I thought he was gonna have more screen time, but it was just like, wait, what?
No, and that's what I mentioned is the fact that no character is left unharmed. Like, you're going to get hurt because of the circumstance and because of choices and consequences.
Oh yeah,
like every choice has a consequence. Every choice has a consequence in this movie.
Now I will have to say that when I watched the film and when I stopped watching, when the film was over, which that ending is just comedy gold in my opinion, because he just left you going, wait, what? Okay, but I had to think about it because it really took a minute to really kind of sink in for the fact that there are elements while I'm watching the film, I'm just like, really? And then at the end, it's like, okay, I'll take a look at that. I'll see what's going on. I'll give it time, and then get to the end. It's like, all right, everything comes together. But it really took me like good 6 to 12 hours before it's like, this is where the film's really kind of strong in the terms of it's kind of one of those. It's like it'll get you later when you go back to think about it, but it
Yeah.
isn't going to be like an immediate reaction as soon as you're done watching it. Some films it's like you have that immediate when the credits roll. It's like, oh, everything made sense, everything I understand. That was good. This one, it's like it seemed
A
really
good,
weird, and
yeah,
then after time, it's like, oh, now I get it.
yeah. Good, great, and fantastic all have different layers. And when it comes to films that do lean toward the upper echelons of things that you won't forget or your favorites or the best are the ones that marinate over time. Even if you recognize the stuff coming out, once you start thinking about it, you start to recognize the greatness that is with it. Why you keep thinking about things, why you keep remembering scenes like the Desert Eagle scene. You know,
Oh, that was so hilarious. The
like
fact that you're
there
going to
is a
say
lot
replica,
of
mine says
references for
Desert
Desert
Eagle
Eagles because of
5.0.
this movie.
All
So,
right. So, what rating did you give this one?
um, this film, as like I said, this is I had to preface in the beginning that was one of my favorite films. Putting that aside, favorite doesn't mean best. So this film does, even though it is one of the best well written scripts that I've ever watched, in my time of film.
Uh-huh.
There, it's still the sporadic nature can loosen some moments and can slow down momentum at time. So even with those little disjointedness, it's still a fun, adventurous ride and a great cinematic masterpiece when it comes to writing and characters of circumstance. So um, I'll just say it how I said in my review. If I could watch this movie in the theaters again, I'd give it a full price. So 4 out of 5. I would
Fair.
pay that full price ticket to watch this in theaters again. But
Uh,
it is available on Stars, I believe, right now, but
yes.
Blu-ray and DVD. So red box it, people, now.
You can find it also on all the streaming services. You just have to rent it. I think it's a $4 rental right now on most of them.
Yeah, I
Um,
know it's on Amazon Prime. I saw it there, but I wasn't gonna pay it.
well, it's Amazon Prime and Apple TV. I have
Yeah.
access to both those, and if it's there, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube to rent, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
prices are pretty much the same across the board.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5, only because it didn't hold me the entire time.
Oh
There were
yeah, I can
parts where
understand
it
why.
did, and for me, it's like the film has to hold my attention because I get a lot going on mentally all the time because I'm thinking about always thinking about things, or especially when you're not in the theater, it's like you are prone to more distractions outside of the theater.
Yeah.
And I feel that a film that can grab me and hold me to pay attention and not look away or play with my phone or think about some project I'm working on in the meantime, that the film is definitely a little bit higher. This one, it had moments where it seemed a little drawn out for as far as a holding my attention in a pacing sense, but in other times it was like, oh, are you kidding me? I've got to see how this plays out because this is just so absurd. Reference
Yeah.
the bar scene in the Desert Eagle because that is just so absurd. You just had to see how that ends.
Oh yeah, that monologue is so great because those characters think they
The
have him, and he's
monologue
just
is
like,
good.
no, you don't.
The monologue is good. It's after the monologue that's better.
Yes, that's what's so great about this movie. It's not the moment that gets you; it's the things after the moment.
So, yeah, I'm going 3.5 out of 5.
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's still on my favorite list, which actually makes me think about all the films I've seen between then when I put that list together. So I'm gonna have to revisit that list at some point and see if anything comes off and goes on.
Alrighty. So, I think with that, we are ready for some state of game.
State that game, peoples.
Alrighty. So, give me I'll pull up that intro. We'll play that intro now. Well, all right. Okay, state of game moment where we talk about all the various games we're playing and what platforms we're playing them on, whether they be video game, tabletop, PC, or actually, I think it's pretty much it because lockdown, can't really go
Mobile,
anywhere.
mobile. You can
Oh
say.
yeah, mobile devices. That's true. That's true. Mobile
Yeah.
devices is a thing. Casual gaming is a thing. All right.
There are a lot of games on that mobile device.
So again,
I have some. I said I have some of those mobile games.
yeah, I've got a few I kind of sit and play still constantly. All right, so video game wise, I'm still working on Division 2. I got a new capture card, tested that out last night. Beautiful picture. Beautiful
good.
picture. Got about 40 minutes or so because, like I said, I was watching Tides of Wildmount and wanted to see how that ended because that hooked. And I got to see how this ends. Yes, I know I could have watched it the next day or the following day, but something about watching it live, just getting that gratification, especially with this culture with Twitch, whatever. It's like, oh, I'm watching it. Let me talk to the community while we're watching it. Make it a community affair. It was fun. So I may rearrange my stream schedule on Mondays. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, Division 2 has been the big video game I've been playing. Since I've spending a lot of time working on other projects, I haven't really pulled up any other games. But with the new PC build, I'm going back to PC games, so still have to figure out what to play first there. I got a huge library on Steam. So it's like,
If there's any games that I can join in that won't kill my laptop, I'll join you.
Well, I mean, we could always do a Torchlight run again. That was like the first PC game I did when I first got Steam years and years ago. It was
That's
Torchlight.
not a hard sell for me.
Say again?
That's not a hard sell for me.
No, I didn't think it would be.
I'm literally playing it on my Switch, so there's no difference of going back. My character's still there, so.
Alrighty. So what about you, Ryan? What games you been tinkering around with the last couple of days?
Well, I haven't touched much of Division 2 other than with you. I didn't jump on last night. I think I was passed out on the couch somewhere, but
yeah, I noticed you were a rare occasion you're not online.
Oh yeah, it's a rarity, but other than that, pretty much now I'm getting further and further and getting knee deep in the Final Fantasy VII remake. And the story's getting good. It's a familiar story, played it for a long time, but just watching how everything has changed and the development of the action style of the combat, mixing in the action with RPG elements is just gratifying because it's so fast paced and you have to be able, it's like they did a fusion of traditional JRPG but within an action orientation.
Yeah.
Because you still have to balance between the fighting and the defense and the healing and the magic, and at the same time understanding the enemy types. And then certain enemies, when you're fighting them, you don't just go on at them head on. There's different parts you have to attack. So is it better to attack the central part of the body or attack the arms, or and then who to use to attack? So
That's
it's
fair.
A lot of balancing act. But the cool thing about it, it's because it's not traditional turn based. Everything is action based. It's all about real time offense defense. So you have to think quick on your feet when you're fighting. So
this is true. So where are you in the story?
I'm in chapter 11.
Okay.
So I've gotten past the part of where you go to sector 5, the Las Vegas style sector, and now I'm moving out past that. So I'm going back to sector 7. So it's me, Tiff, and dang, it's fleeting me in my mind, but yeah, it's me and the girls right now.
Okay. You, Tiff,
Cloud and the girl.
Oh, Tifa, Aerith, and Cloud.
Yeah, T5 Aerith and Cloud. I'm in that situation,
Okay.
past Sector 5, heading into Sector 7 again.
Gotcha. All right. Um. So other than that, I got one campaign thing which we've been talking bits and pieces, and that's this new D&D game called Challenge Accepted.
Okay.
It's going to be Wednesday. I did for my build stream. I spent some time working on building out the adventure because this will exist in the same my version of the Forgotten Realms and whatnot. This is that I run no quarter and a team in. So just it's this group, and then the cool thing is what happened was I was working on Roll20, working on my stuff for Roll20 for the no quarter group, and I made a comment in the Realmsmith community Discord. We got to talking about Roll20, and they got to talking about doing a D&D game and seeing who people interested. Me being me, I sat there and raised my hand, said I volunteer as tribute. And next thing you know, I've got a group of players. And Saturday we did a quick conference call to kind of meet and greet and get some of the stuff out of the way for what people thought. It went really well. Like I was saying, the Realmsmith box arrived on my doorstep as this conference call got started.
That's just
So
awesome.
for a little while after, we're all like, "Yeah, this has got it. This is some good omens." We think anyway. We'll see how it goes. They're going to take on the event. They're starting off with the adventure out of the Ghosts of Saltmarsh storybook. So I'm getting that ready for that, and like I said, I'm really excited. Thinking maybe my voice and my approach to dungeon mastering will be a good thing for content and making new friends and going on adventures. Why not?
Oh yeah, it's always good.
What could possibly go wrong?
Well, if it is as adventurous and interesting as the previous stories you've been talking about on the podcast, I expect it to go left field in a very fun, adventurous way.
Yeah, especially because this is brand new players, various levels of experience, different time zones. One of the guys is in Germany, based on the his accent. So it's like this will be fun and an actual international kind of. It'll feel to me a little more dynamic in the sense that it isn't my circle that's here in Hampton Roads. It's new players and kind of building that reputation. So I'm hoping it goes well. I'm hoping there's some new opportunities that come with this. But overall, I hope I don't screw this up as a dungeon master. I gotta be
Hey,
honest. I'm genuinely slightly nervous, but I also feel really confident in my story stuff and confident that hey, this will go well. So fingers crossed. Break a leg, all that fun jazz.
oh yeah, I think it'll be fine. You have your knowledge of the dice game, so it's just a matter of managing the group and seeing where it takes you.
Well, and the nice thing is the fact it's layering the three groups that are active right now. And I was looking at the maps today, compiling the maps and the adventures and what's been happening here and there, and kind of going with like, well, this group has done these things, and how is that ripple through with these other groups? And so far, it feels very kind of organic in the sense that there's definitely stuff going on. But then I was sitting there looking at it, it's like, realistically, these three groups are operating in a space that is probably about 150 miles.
Yeah,
And it's looking at that, it's like, that's actually very small as far as geography and thinking about this. And two of them are within 100 miles of each other. So it could
interesting.
be very interesting very quick. Not that they're going to immediately overlap. Right now, they're kind of working on two different directions, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like, we'll see how this goes. And since this is a community game, one of the things thinking about is setting this up as kind of an adventuring guild or of some type where it's like that way it allows players to drop in and out of the group, depending on the quote unquote contract that's taken up. So
Oh yeah.
I think for the first story arc, so to speak, it'll be okay. How are these guys getting established as challenge accepted, and building up that guild and finding a place to call home and setting that stuff up. And right now, it's going to investigate a haunted house. So see how that kind of rolls itself out. But yeah, 3 p.m. here on Twitch. Audio and VOD will come out in the normal channels within a few days, hopefully. And yeah, that's all I got for State of Game. I got no quarter on Friday night, and then challenge accepted on Saturday, and this will be a weekly game.
Oh yeah.
So we'll roll with it.
Oh yeah. Right now it's just going to be Final Fantasy VII until I decide to ever play the game I managed to install on my system.
Days Gone.
So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
baby steps.
Hey, if you get to it, you get to it. If not, there's not like there's any shortage of time here.
Oh
So.
no, there's enough time.
All right. I think with that, we'll go ahead and get into our news stuff. Unless you got another game you want to chat about.
No, nothing really. Other than I have come around to maybe getting Ghost of Tsushima in July when it drops. I wasn't sure about it. Then when I heard the words "open world samurai game," I kind of changed my mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that one. All right, playing the intro for odds and ends. Alrighty, odds and ends, where we talk about the news and what's going on in the world and the interwebs.
Swirling around.
Scrolling around. We got a variety of stories to talk about.
Definitely a good variety indeed.
Well, let's start off with the big boys.
Big.
First one, apparently Funimation announced there's a Funimation Con, there's a virtual anime convention that's happening in July. July 3rd, July 4th. Great way to do the holiday during the midst of all this lockdown and social distancing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, what do we know about this?
This is reported on Anime News Network. Basically, what it is, Funimation, since they can't run their typical, anime expos that are planned in Los Angeles around the same time, they decided to go online and do a virtual one. So, as you said, July 3 and 4 is going to be a virtual Funimation Con. And it's described as, quote, a 2-day stream of cosplay meetups, industry panels, Q&A sessions, and more, end quote. So it does sound like it's a good way of finding a balanced medium between, bringing communities together without, exposing to anything that would be unnecessary, and showcasing that technology that there is prime to what we can do over the interwebs with if they can move cons to a virtual space. It just expands the possibilities of more things doing that can rely on that kind of stuff. This is just a perfect storm to where anime fans, they watch a lot of stuff streaming wise anyway. They do a lot of things online. It's a bed for possibilities because of the community itself, but it does highlight other things that could be moving online with like video game presentations, music festivals, and other things that could use this format down the road.
I think it's good for more exposure. I mean, because cons are kind of a price point barrier for me, and with having virtual ones, if I hear about it soon enough, it might be worth. I might be able to check it out. So.
This one I'm probably going to check out just out of one. I'm an anime fan through and through till the day I die, and two, I just want to see what the experience is going to be like virtually, because I have been to a anime con in person, the one that happens here So just to get another different idea, and plus it's being held by one of the bigger companies that deal with animation, so you know they're going to have a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of things coming online.
Yeah. Um, I had it. I had a thought. I had a thought. Ah, forget it. Moving on.
Woo!
Let's
Homicide.
let's talk about lockdown. Let's talk about the fallout of lockdown. And last week we discussed George. Last week, the week before, we discussed the states are starting to reopen, and one of the first
Yeah.
ones, Georgia, is having these new requirements for the movie theaters and other businesses and entertainment venues. This week, our governor here in Virginia had said that next week could start phase one of getting the everything moving again, which is still going to be another 12 to 16 weeks before we're quote unquote back to or in a post lockdown. But with limiting all this other stuff, one of the things that seems to have come out is movies are being released to premiere video on demand or
Yeah.
PVOD. We first one was Trolls World Tour, which basically raked in money like it was cool. Several other films have done a PVOD, and they appear to have done well. I haven't heard of. I mean, the numbers aren't really out. I'm sure the numbers are out there, but it's kind of one of those things. It's like people watch movies and seeing and being able to access these brand new films ahead of time, whether it's a little bit higher price point to rent, doesn't strike me as something that's terribly bad and appropriate for this time frame when we have almost everybody and their brother spending more time at home. Granted, there's the frontline workers, which gotta give them mad love and respect because hey, they're doing what's got to get done. Yep, very much mad love and respect for them for putting their life out, putting their selves out there to help others.
Yes.
Um, but we have to sit there and then go back to, hey, this is business. Businesses have people they answer to. Businesses have things they need to do, and apparently opportunities for come up, and when opportunities come, you either take them or you don't. And one of those is Universal CEO sat there and says like, hey, we did really good with this film, we're going to do more of it. And that seemed to upset the apple cart, so to speak, in no uncertain terms, where the movie theaters, the NATO, the National Organization of of Theaters, uh, uh, starting with AMC theaters, followed by Regal, and then of course the NATO group for movie theaters, all were like, "This is not cool. You shouldn't do this." And their response is, "Oh well, if it's a Universal related property, we will not show it at all." And I gotta say, that sounds like a really petty thing to do.
Yeah, it's a mixture of when it came out. It's it's just it set alarms like, oh snap, because one, AMC is the largest movie chain in the world, not the states, not America, the world. And then you're like, okay, well, there's other change. And then Regal jumped in, and then NATO, which is the organization, all the theaters chimed in. So it kind of dwindled down to pitting studio against distributor. Um, so when you look at it, especially with AMC, it comes with a feeling of, hey, getting petty because you're not making any money, and another group found a way to make money in times of peril, that you just feeling a little quote unquote hurt
Yeah,
from the behind. But at the same time, that there's more than meets the eye. Sorry to take away that from you, Optimus, but more so than what is putting them just saying they're not going to show Universal. there is a stipulation for this specific film putting it to VOD and breaking a contract.
Well,
So
okay, so I haven't heard anything about the contract side. So what's up with this contract side?
so basically, I haven't read in complete detail of it, but basically pushing films that were slated for, just theater release without, consolidating or, talking with the distributors is a no-no within the contract. You can push stuff to VOD, but it usually happens after the fact, after it's been theater released. We do know what the circumstances. They probably should have found a way to work around it. But as the article that we have here from CNBC, um, a lot of the reasons that the studios are pushing some of these mid-tier movies to VOD because it's predicated on the fact that there is they aren't expecting to make a lot of money on these, and it's not like the studios are pulling every film to VOD. A lot of their major releases they're pushing back because no matter what this pandemic has done, the big movies are going to make money regardless. It's going to
Yeah.
happen
And
because
when we look at some of Universal's related properties, we're talking the Fast franchise, DreamWorks films. There's quite a bit of them.
yeah, they have a lot of big films that they have coming out that are potentially going to be money makers for both sides. It's just like you said, it seems like a gut wrenching move because the distributors are not distributors, but the studios have found a way around the a la carte mode of theater chains, which this is basically another. It's just history repeating itself, and this is just I mentioned to you off air. This is another blockbuster Netflix situation when Netflix was moving into starting to get on the rise and streaming was slowly picking up, Blockbuster had a chance to get into that market and decided against it. And you see what happened there. Um Said case in point with this here, um studios have always wanted to find a way to balance the act outside of the theaters, and you start seeing that with some of the streaming services having movies getting award recognitions, the Oscars having to open up, lift their rules for the movies because of the situation, but also at the same time, there's probably underlying pressures for them to see, hey, a lot of these big good name theaters are big name directors like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, and like David Lynch are starting to make movies on these smaller on these streaming platforms. We got to open this up.
Yeah,
So
I don't think the Academy did it because of that. I think
no,
the
I that's
Academy
not
did
that's
it.
not what I'm saying. What I'm saying it's just a premonition of things to come.
Oh yeah,
You know,
I'm all for that, but I also think part of the reason why they opened up to
yeah,
allow for films that get no theater time because of the pandemic
yeah,
is, let's think about this in the next year when
yeah,
it gets to be Oscar time, and if they did not allow any films in theaters, then technically there's no need to have an Oscars. And here is something that people are going to freak out about at the network level because, hey, I paid how much money for the rights to broadcast this show, and you're going to tell me, no, you're not doing it? Or it's, oh, we are contractually obligated to do this show. We must find some way to get around it, which is part of the whole. Which, tying it back to the whole hubbub over Trolls World Tour, is there was a there was not it wasn't just a theater deal, but it was also weighing that against a merchandising deal for the toys and stuff, because kids films are huge things for, as far as not just the film and the ticket sales, but then the merchandising deals and all of that time and energy and marketing has gone into the toys and stuff to appeal to the kids for gifts and whatnot. Those are factors in there too. And if your
Yeah.
back's against the wall, you're going to do something, because one contract versus the other, it's like, which one can you accept to deal with and which one you can't? In a perfect
Yeah.
world, obviously, we don't want to see any contract fall to the wayside. But I think overall, I think that AMC's and Regal's on their reactions to this strike me as a little knee jerk. And when they're already kind of bent over a barrel, so to speak, because they have had zero revenue or near zero revenue for 2 to 3 months. And when they reopen, it's going to be extremely stagnant, and it's going to be heavily restricted because of social distancing guidelines from state, federal, CDC, all these government agencies saying, hey, we got to keep people separated and do X, Y, and Z. Sitting there and cutting off potential revenue does not seem like it's good business. And it seems like you're getting bent out of shape over a very antiquated business model that, like you said, the whole Netflix blockbuster. I think the theaters are in the blockbuster stance where it's like, look, this is the way we've always done it. We've done it this way for 70 years. There's no need to change because we've done it for 70 years. To, hey, I never said I wasn't going to put movies in the theater. I'm just saying I'm going to put a movie in a theater, and I'm going to put it out on Premiere video on demand at the same time. So I think if it was, hey, we're going to forego putting any movie in theater and put them all on PVOD, that might be a little more thing to be upset about. But instead, you just force them into that, or thinking that by sitting there and saying it, you're going to convince the studios to backpedal. The money does not follow that.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
It seems, from my understanding, is the theaters take 50% of the ticket sales. The studio gets the other 50%. Premiere video on demand, the studio gets 80% of the sale. I sorry, the math is not there for the theaters to think they have the studios over a barrel. But I mean that's how I'm seeing this. I'm not seeing this as being something that makes a lot of sense, other than my feelings are hurt and I'm going to express how my feelings are hurt.
Oh yeah, it's a basic knee jerk reaction to something that they see as a threat, because theaters that's the whole, it's all, that's why I tied it in back to what the academies are doing, and the fight against of letting streaming movies in award shows. This comes back to these theaters fighting against Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu. From that, because it's another fight of them trying to fight some change against their own model. So the theaters rely on these movies to make the money, no matter if it's the first week, second week, or third week. So just having that knee-jerk reaction is not going to benefit them all. What it's going to do is just drive the audiences to be like, well, I want to watch Fast 9 and you're not going to let me see it, so therefore I'm just not going to go to your theater at all for anything. So it doesn't matter if it was Universal, Paramount, Sony, Disney.
And that's another thing too. That's another thing when you sit there and you look at the Fox deal.
Yeah.
The Fox deal with Disney gives Disney roughly 51% of all the theatrical releases in a calendar year. Universal and all the others make up the other 47% or whatnot. Universal saying that is one thing, but if the House of Mouse sat there and said, we're going to release Premiere Video on Demand and theater for all of their stuff, what would the reaction have been then?
it might have not been the same way because they're looking at that share.
I
But
mean,
they'd probably find a way to work with the House of Mouse because of that market share. And the
yeah,
fact is that they wouldn't want to fight them on that because Disney has streaming platforms. They have Disney Plus, they have Hulu, they have ESPN Plus, not to mention a plethora of other networks they own
yeah. I
on
mean,
the
that's pretty
cables.
much.
Yeah. So
They have
it,
it boils down to bargaining power, and I don't
yeah.
think the theaters have enough bargaining power to force Universal to change their opinion.
Oh no, they won't because then they have the backing of not only maybe the House of Mouse, they might come in, but also all those streaming platforms behind Universal be like, you know what, put your stuff through us through your VOD, or put it out on Netflix, or put it through Hulu, or put it through Prime. Wherever you have VOD access, they're going to be like, okay, let's do it that way instead of doing it this. Because I
That's true,
guarantee
and
you,
that's another
if
facet on this too. The is now that thinking about that, talking this through is like let's take a look at that. Universal said they're gonna do both aspects, and then
yes,
later it came out and said when it makes sense per film. Okay. AMC's immediate response was drop all the films. What if that was not a shot across Universal's bow, so to speak, but a shot across Disney's bow? What if it's, hey, somebody started this. We need to put a line in the sand now before all of a sudden all the others to sit there and go, that might not be such a bad idea. Just saying. I mean, I want to be, hate to borrow the tagline, but fair and balanced, and devil's advocate my way through both sides of the argument, just to sit there and go, which one makes
hmm.
the most sense to
But
you?
yeah, I do find it interesting, like you said. You said they only are attacking Universal because what it has happened is that there's a few other studios that have pulled their major releases and they're going to put them on streaming service. You mentioned the House of Mouse. They're putting Artemis Fowl on Disney Plus. Warner Brothers is pushing a Scoob to VOD next week.
Yeah,
Um, so those are that's just two big networks right there. And the fact is, those two studios have their own streaming platforms.
it's true.
Warner Brothers is going to have
Also,
HBO Max.
yeah.
So
Well, HBO Max now signed that exclusive. It's signed a deal with Apple, based
yeah,
on one of your articles you sent last week. But no, it's it's the fact that, or not so much the fact, but the indicators are sit there and saying, if you're going to talk about breaking a contract agreement to put Trolls on video on demand, why is that not also being said for these other two films? For example,
yeah.
some of the others that have gone to VOD had at least a couple of weeks in the theater prior to everything going sideways.
Yeah.
But these two films, no. Now it could also be that, given the comparison of films that Disney has on the roster to release, Artemis Fowl may not have been able to stand very well compared to the others.
Yeah, that was another
That's
reason
fair.
they decided to put it on their platform because they needed a boost for the streaming service, and two, it wasn't projecting to make them a lot of money. So,
Which is fair. I mean, that makes sense. But did the theater community get all bent out of shape over that?
nope.
This just proves where the money talks, everybody walks.
Oh yeah.
And when you're looking at the fact that the first Trolls made 157 million in 3 weeks in the theaters. Trolls World Tour made 100 million in 3 weeks, which, okay, 50 some odd million, but then taking a look at that break. 157 million 50-50 left the studio with 170 with 75 million dollars.
Yeah.
100 million broke 80-20. That's 80 million. Which one was more profitable to the studio at that point?
Oh yeah.
So, alrighty. Well, I think we've been beating on that one to death. Let's move on to some more fun stuff.
Fun things in the studio.
Alrighty.
What do we got?
Yeah, speaking of crazy and zany and just scratch your head weird.
Weirdness all over the place,
I
but especially on this article. If you're
yeah,
going to the one I'm
I
thinking.
have not watched Tiger King. I have no interest in watching this. This is some of that stuff that just makes you like, why? And I really think if it wasn't for this whole lockdown thing, this series would not have blown up the way it did.
It
But
was just the perfect storm.
apparently, because it was so successful, everybody and their brother is jumping on the bandwagon to produce more content around this guy and his crazy antics. And they recently cast Nicolas Cage as the lead character, Joe Exotic.
Yes, that is just awesome news. It is reported on by Screen Rant. A scripted as quote a scripted Tiger King TV show cast Nicolas Cage to star as Joe Exotic, the stage name of Joseph Allen Maladol Passage, um, based on that Netflix document series that kind of just blew up because of the Perfect Storm.
Now,
So yeah,
I like Nick Cage. I think he does some great films, but his method of he's a method actor. He really gets into this, and this seems like one of those things. I think it could be potentially one of his best or one of his worst roles because
it
of the
could
way he
be best
approaches
and worst at the same
acting and
time.
getting into character.
Yes, I think that this is a perfect fit because he is a crazy actor, and he's going to be playing a crazy character on TV that's already crazy. If you've ever watched the documentary, I'm not,
I'm not
but
watching
from
it. I
yeah,
refuse to watch it. I have other things to spend my time on. This is not one of them.
no, yeah. I'm not in the haterade of a lot of people that don't want to watch it just because of its popularity. I just like you, there's a lot of other shows I want to watch, so
And it's not
yeah,
that
and a
I
lot
hate
of
it. It's
anime
just,
that I want to watch.
and it's not that I hate it. I don't want to sit there and say I hate it. I don't want to sit there and
Oh
say
no,
anything negative. It's just,
I wasn't saying you were, but some
this
people
is
are
not,
hating on it.
yeah, there are a lot of people
Because
hating on it. There are a lot of people think it's really stupid. Me, I have not seen it, so I'm not going to say it's stupid. I'm just going to say the way people are reacting to it is like, this is not making me want to watch this. This
yeah,
is not peer pressuring me into watching this. This
like
show
the
would have
first
never
week I've
crossed
seen
my
memes, I
radar.
don't even know what it was.
Yeah. So, like I said, if one for lockdown, nobody would have cared. Alrighty, next one. This one's gonna be fun. And that is
Oh yes,
yesterday, of course, being the 4th of May, Star Wars Day. Saw all kinds of Star Wars newsy goodness, and this one really kicks it up there. A new Star Wars film was announced. It is in development and will be directed by Taika Waititi. Oh
yes,
man,
and this is going to be exciting because he is a very intuitive director.
he
He can
is.
take
And there was
material.
that bit in The Mandalorian where it's like, yep, this could be really good. And with what he did for Thor Ragnarok and all of that, it's like, yeah, this is going to be fun. I
Yeah,
think.
Thor Ragnarok, and probably it might make a list down the road is a Jojo Rabbit. Like I'm just the more I think about that movie, I know we're going away from this news, but just that's the epitome of what to expect when you hear Taika Waititi in Star Wars. The way he
Especially
can
with the
make you care
actors he
about
could
Hitler.
get to work with, the actors he's worked with, the actors he could get to work with. Might see a few of those in there. I think it'll be interesting.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and
Because we don't know where he's going to fit this. Pre-Empire, post-Empire, uh, the Old Republic era, Golden Era. I mean, the scum and villainy of the universe. I mean, there's so many places he could go with
yep.
this.
So there is no details about it. So like you said, you don't know what era it's going to take place in. You don't know what characters it's going to take place in. But
Let
Disney
the
confirmed
rumor
it. He
wheel
is not going to be.
begin.
Yeah, the Disney confirmed it's not going to be the Cassian Andor show or the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So it is going to be new. It's going to be set somewhere that nobody knows, but it's going to have the stylings of the Watiti isms. So I'm looking forward to that.
I can't wait. All right. How about a little National Geographic type of thing?
From
Did
your
you
local news,
did you know there is a species of hornet that is potent enough to has venom that's potent enough to kill a human being?
oh yes, I have found that out this week. Actually,
All right. And did you know this? Do you know where this hornet came from?
came from it originated from the land of the rising sun.
Yes. So, and here it is. We have an article here where it says this. They call it the murder hornets because it's roughly a 2-inch size hornet,
Yes.
and you get a few of them together. The sting is enough to actually kill you. Well, hornets tend to hunt bees. And this particular species of hornet, which is indigenous to Japan, has been sighted in the continental U.S., specifically
Yes.
Washington State, where a local beekeeper noticed that quite a number of his bees were decapitated.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of concern there.
Oh yes. So what it is that, as reported, actually through our local news network, Wavy, researchers are now hunting for the hornets and hoping to eradicate the species before it establishes itself in the state. End quote. So
Yes.
it is a cautionary tale that we have to deal with a pandemic, and then on the backside, murderous hornets.
Yeah, but
So
it's not so much the hornet, it's the fact that evasive transplanted species like this destroying the local ecosystem.
yeah,
We've seen
no points
there's dozens
for
of these
helping.
cases. Look at what's going on in the Everglades with the python epidemic.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that.
Australia with the cane toads. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of things where you brought in these species, they hitched a ride, they came over, they're not supposed to be there, and all of a sudden you cannot get rid of them because they're so out of place in the ecosystem. But
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
and
I think it's interesting. They haven't figured. One of the first things is how did it get across the ocean into Washington State?
they don't know. The
Yeah.
scientists don't know yet, and that's kind of scary because we don't know if they hitched a ride on a boat,
Uh huh.
held somebody
Oh,
ransom,
excuse me.
um, snuck in through a pipe, or teleported. Who knows? But just to add some cream to the crop on this from the article, it's reported that the hornets kill up to 50 people every year in Japan. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, just what we need. Alrighty. Back on to some more fun stuff. Ubisoft is giving away games.
Yes, they are.
Last week was
Some
definitely a week for Ubisoft news, but we got this new one where it's Ubisoft is giving away 3 games. They're giving away Assassin's Creed 2. They're giving away Rayman Legends, and help me out with the third one. I can't remember off the top of my head.
They are giving lastly Child of Light.
And
Eh, which
go ahead.
Yeah, Child of Light is a 2D side scroller per se, but it has a lot of RPG elements in it. So it's one of those like colorful aesthetics like Limbo, or in that vein. So it's a very colorful aesthetic game, but it's a 2D side scroller.
Well, I have it in my virtual shrink wrap on a couple of platforms, and I have Rayman Legends, and I've played that. That's zany, but I gotta say though, Assassin's Creed 2 was a pretty interesting grab on that list because that is arguably the best Assassin's Creed game.
In a lot of circles it is, and even with the release of Origins and Odyssey, some people still love a 2. 2 was my favorite until I played Odyssey. So,
Fair, fair. But
but
there's
you
a
got to
catch
look
with
at how
these
long
free
it took.
games. There is a catch with the games.
There is a catch.
And the catch
So,
is you can only get them for PC And you can only get them through Ubisoft's proprietary game service. Uplay.
Oh yeah.
But
So yeah.
hey, I mean, I'm glad people are giving away games. Oh, we were my wife and I were actually out grabbing some dinner today, and we got to talk, and I said, you know, this is the time for industries revolving around introverts to really do well.
Oh yeah. It definitely pump out those free games like Uncharted 4, which I got
Yep.
free.
All right. Our next one in this is again coming back to the states reopening and some people reacting the way they're doing. Well, this lawyer in Florida probably has one of the more interesting. I think he's a closet cosplayer, but he dressed up as the Grim Reaper out at Florida's beaches over the fact that Florida decided to open the beaches after all of this lockdown stuff. And this was this guy's reaction.
Oh yeah.
If this ain't an odds and ends crazy kind of story, I don't know what is, but this is just wow.
So as reported on CNN.com through their CNN travel section, Florida lawyer Daniel Uhlfelder, to protest the reopening of the beaches, decided to go and sit out there in a Grim Reaper costume to haunt the people that were coming out to the beaches.
I hope he brought plenty of sunblock.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be in all black, so he'd probably be sweating a lot too. It is Florida, so.
Oh, gotta stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. Hydrate or die. Alrighty, next up, got another Animal Kingdom news. Recent scientific discovery has said that the Spinosaurus is the first known swimming dinosaur. Because of a recent discovery of a fossilized tail to the Spinosaurus being paddle-like.
Yes. To add a little credence to what you said, this is reported on IGN, and quote, National Geographic's reports that the fossilized tail of the Spinosaurus aspiticus, I butchered that, sorry, unearthed in southern Morocco provided fresh insight into how the 50-foot-long 7-ton predator may have lived in an underwater habitat, unquote.
Well,
dinosaurs can swim. That's pretty much what I got from the article. They don't die in the water. They die from meteors and asteroids.
every animal can swim. Some better than others.
I can swim,
Yes.
but I have the blood.
Most every animal can swim, and I gotta say, I think Spinosaurus. I'm thinking Jurassic Park 3, and the whole swimming thing. I'm thinking back to the original Jurassic Park, the book, where there's a great sequence. I still remember 20 years after reading the book and watching the film. But in the original book, there was a sequence where Grant and the kids were floating across a body of water. And one of the T-Rexes was swimming after them. Very crocodilian-like.
And
then, of course, we look to Jurassic Park 3. And that river sequence where the Spinosaurus was swimming through the water. 10 years, 15 years before this quote-unquote discovery. It's kind of like, oh, yeah. Movie got it right. Moving on. Let's see. Well, it is Tuesday. It is Cinco de Mayo, which means time for margaritas and tacos.
Oh, yes.
Another one from our local news affiliate announced that Taco Bell is rolling out at-home taco bar kits. I don't think there's a whole lot that could be said to this one. Taco Bell.
It's pretty much, yeah.
I mean, they already had the party box where they had the burritos and the tacos made. Now you're going to get a box where they're not made.
No, you're just gonna get a lot more fun and flavor. As reported by our local affiliate Wavy, to add more to that quote, the taco bar will feed a group of 6. It includes 8 flour tortillas, 12 crunchy taco shells, and 6 ounces of tortilla chips. End quote.
Okay.
No,
There's not a whole lot we can say on that one. It's just that's
no,
what it is.
yeah, everybody loves tacos. Let's go get some tacos. That's pretty much what it says.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, we're about an hour and a half in. I think we're probably best to cut it there. Otherwise, we could, with the looking over these last few stories, I could definitely see a good 45 minutes of shenanigans back and forth over these. Even
Oh
though it's
yeah,
supposed to be quick, some of them were just got to talk about, especially to clarify. So, I think we'll save that for the next game stream and make it a little chit chat over those things.
oh yeah. But just to end on a high note,
All right.
Valhalla.
Oh yes. Let's be fair. Let's talk about that because that was announced last week, and that is probably going to be one of the big ones. And I've got a story here about that one. Ubisoft has clarified that the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be a day one release for both the new Xbox and the PlayStation 5.
Yes, so it will be a release on the new systems as well as the current gen. Um, if the extended teaser, which got me hyped and I watched a lot, um, it's going to be set taking place in 9th century Europe when following a Viking by the name of Ivor who raids the Kingdom of England at that time.
Yeah, and the article goes on to talk about how this one, there's going to be a big thing to talk about the settlement that Ivor is creating and how integral that will be to your character and story development, as well as taking and refining more things from Odyssey.
Oh yeah,
So,
so it's going to build upon the seafaring. It's going to expand, territory and development of the characters, and it's bringing one of the best features back, which is dual wielding weapons.
so I'm looking forward to more news on this. But it's great to see another franchise. Looks like they're really making good strides and making it more immersive.
Oh
If
yes,
Odyssey was any indication of how immersive they can truly get, this will be good to see.
oh yeah, I expect great things. Comes out in the holiday season of this year.
Alrighty. Well, I think with that, we'll go ahead and put up our contact information. And this time I fixed the button.
The button is fixed, people.
Alrighty. That's where you can find us on all the social media platforms and whatnot. If you're listening to this on the audio version through your podcast service of choice, by all means, give us a like, give us a rating, help us to do what we do more. If you're checking this out on YouTube at Scuba Studio on YouTube, give us a like, give us a share. Be sure to hit the little bell to let you know when more videos come out. We do a lot of different videos on a lot of different content. And stay tuned or check us out this Saturday for Challenge Accepted. And we'll see you there, and we'll see you out on the interwebs.
Peace.